And that's how I met Malcolm X. I was playing in a nightclub in Boston, and they told me that this man Malcolm was tearing up Boston talking about white folks. And nobody could talk about white folks like Malcolm X. Don't take my word for it, go get his tape. That's why I think there's a lot of deceit in this so-called romance with Malcolm. They have another purpose in mind, which I'll get to that in a few minutes. I'm not going to be any much longer, but I thought I needed to lay this kind of foundation so you could see, in a sense, my perspective of where my brother was coming from and where I'm coming from. When I first met Malcolm, he had on a brown tam, a brown coat, brown suit, brown gloves, an imposing man. And I heard he was talking so bad about white folks, I was scared of him. So when I shook his hand quick, and I ran into a little chicken shack called the Chicken Lane in Boston and got away from Malcolm. I didn't know I was running to Malcolm. So I was playing in Chicago, right here, on the north side, in a nightclub on Rush Street called the Blue Angel. It's not there anymore, but I was the headline attraction at the Blue Angel, and one of my friends said, "Hey, Elijah Muhammad is speaking." I had heard of this man. I was looking for somebody that would speak liberation. So when I went to the little temple at 5335 South Greenwood Avenue, I heard the man that I believe I was looking for all the days of my life. And when I heard him, it was instant love. It's like a woman that you've been dreaming about. And you can't put your hand on what she looked like, but you know what she's going to do for you when you meet her. You understand that experience? And when you meet the woman, you see her face, you see her smile, you hear her words, your friends say, "What happened to you?" It was love at first sight. Well, that's the way it was with Brother Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I left Chicago and I went to New York and went to Temple number 7 and heard Malcolm X for the first time. And I'm saying to you, I have never heard a black man in my life talk the way this brother talked. I joined the mosque immediately. I was a man in show business. Malcolm came and broke the news to me. I had to either get out of the mosque or get out of music, because Mr. Muhammad didn't want me doing both. I said, wow. And I quit my music. And Malcolm was my teacher. The lesson I'm trying to tell you, the brother can't be reduced to a slogan by any means necessary. You can't reduce Martin Luther King to "I have a dream." This is the way they present our great ones to us. They collapse them into a convenient phrase, but if you are not intelligent enough to look behind the phrase, to learn the man, the mind, the spirit, then you don't really know the man, and you're living just 25 years after the man and have a very weak or shallow knowledge of the man. You're just a few years from Dr. King and know very little about the man. Because these men who give you Malcolm, who give you Martin, they don't want you to continue their struggle. So you end up with a picture of the man on your wall, but you're not struggling the way he struggled. You're not living the life the way he lived it. You don't know nothing about that man's life. So you say Malcolm is my man. Fine. Then dig into the man. He inspired me. I have to tell the truth. He inspired me. He taught me how to become a man. I always wanted to be a man. I didn't have any father. Malcolm became the father that I never had, even though he was 9 years my senior. I submitted to my teacher. And I drank in everything that he said. And I walked with Malcolm as he went back to Harvard, a few blocks from where he was arrested. And I saw him debate the best that colleges in America could produce, and nobody could handle Malcolm. He had a brilliant mind. He was disciplined. If you could accept the discipline that Malcolm imposed upon himself, we would be a better people today. I never saw Malcolm smoke. I never saw Malcolm take a drink. I never saw Malcolm eat in between meals. He ate one meal a day. He got up 5 o'clock in the morning to say his prayers. I never saw Malcolm late for an appointment. I never heard Malcolm cuss. I never saw Malcolm wink at a woman. Now it seems to me that if you're going to love a man, and you're going to fall in love with his wisdom, you ought to start building the character as the support for that wisdom. Listen. Malcolm was like a clock. Whenever he had an appointment, I would watch it. He would drive up just about a minute before the time. All right. And he'd be walking in 15 seconds before the time. And when he sat down at the table in the restaurant meeting whoever he was to meet, it was right on the money. He was disciplined. He was punctual. He was courageous. He was intelligent. He was a tactical man, a man who tactically planned moves to advance the cause of black people. I adored Malcolm. I want you to listen to me good. Why did you adore him, Farrakhan? I adored him because, to me, the greatest man in my life, yesterday, today, and tomorrow, has been and is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the way Malcolm represented the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there was not another minister, captain, nobody in the nation that I saw representing the Honorable Elijah Muhammad like him. So because of my love for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I adored Malcolm because Malcolm was his greatest helper. From my vantage point. Now there would come a time, and I got to get into this critical point. Malcolm is like any of us. The man worked hard. He wanted to be respected and loved for his work. How many of you are in some organization and work hard, and it looks like the people that are in the organization with you don't seem to appreciate your value? You know that among us, one of our greatest drawbacks is not blackness, it is ignorance that manifests itself in cold, naked envy. Envy, jealousy. And let me tell you something. When people are envious of you, they will work night and day to destroy you. Envy is an irredeemable characteristic. It makes you like a Satan. You smile, but you don't mean it. You sit down at the table of somebody that you envy, but you're plotting against them all the while. That is in every organization. It's right here at Malcolm X College. Is that right? You don't have to bear me witness. I know it's here because black folk are here. The human condition is here. I ain't asking you to tell me nothing. I already know. If you sing too good, somebody gonna hate your voice. If you play basketball too good, if you come here in less than a year and have done a heck of a job, somebody don't like the job you're doing and trying to undermine you. I know our people. Well, if that is in us, it had to have existed in the Nation of Islam. And in the nation, Malcolm worked hard, but there were those in the leadership who were envious and jealous of Malcolm. And as Malcolm worked, people spoke against him. And Malcolm, really in his pain, we were like father and son, so he would come and talk to me. And I would always encourage him spiritually. Malcolm was more the political man. Louis Farrakhan was more the spiritual man. In a magazine recently called Emerge, they were comparing Brother Malcolm with Brother Farrakhan. You can't make any comparison like that. Because I am who and what I am. And Malcolm is who and what he is. The circumstances that made Malcolm may be similar, but we're not the same people. We don't have the same footprint, the same fingerprint. We don't have the same mother and father, but we came up under the same general conditions. I am more spiritual. Malcolm was more political. We need both spiritual, political, economic, social, educator, and we need the warriors. You understand? Those who don't have nothing in their heart but slay the enemy. You got that among the people. We need it all.